Are you a member of our Channel 3 Mom Squad Facebook group yet? It's by moms for moms. It's a place where we can laugh, get support, advice, and more.
I feel left out.
Hey, you can join.
Okay.
You can join.
Well, right now.
You don't have to be a mom, but I mean, you generally would have some kids at least.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to talk about parenting mistakes that can impact children's mental strength.
Yes, joining us now is a mom, Dr. Laura Saunders. She is also a child psychologist at the Institute of Living. Don't you love her kids who have a child psychologist for a mom? One step ahead. Hi, doctor.
You would think so, but it doesn't necessarily work out like that.
Okay. All right. So I like this topic because, we're in a stressful world, and I want to be careful because I know you always say parenting is the hardest job in the world, but there are some mistakes we could be making that might create some problems for the mental health and strength of our kids.
Yeah. So we want to avoid some common mistakes. Parenting is the hardest job in the world. We are in really stressful times, and we're always saying that, but it seems like more pressure and responsibilities and stress. So we want to avoid some common mistakes. So let's start with one, and we talk about this in different ways, but I can't emphasize it enough. It's a mistake to save your children from failure experiences. You don't want to just prevent your children from making mistakes or having failure experiences. Just because I know I can easily fix something doesn't mean I should fix something. So allowing some failure experiences. And again, I'm not talking about safety issues. I'm not talking about driving a bicycle off of a cliff. I'm talking about small mistakes that we can learn from, because honestly, it's the mistakes and our failure experiences that create the most learning.
What about
the second is
expecting perfection?
Right. Sometimes I think what happens is, as parents, we have a lot of nice goals for our children. We really want them to be high achieving and to achieve those goals, but our kids have not bought into that. And we expect really high things and perfection from our kids. Now, it's okay to set goals. I set goals all the time, but having goals where it's realistic and your children have kind of bought into it, and they have to be motivated, because if they're not motivated, you're constantly creating situations where there's power struggles, and you're pushing them, and it often leads to resentment and withdrawal.
Well, we want them to be successful, but I would think it's so interesting, as you say, that when we set the bar too high and then they don't meet that, let's say we're like, we want you to get all A's and be on the honor roll, and you have a kid who doesn't really like school, kind of struggles there, it actually leads to self-confidence issues rather than making them work harder.
Right, because that bar is too high, and so they constantly feel like they're not meeting it. So it really engenders this sense of inadequacy in them. And so then as they get older, they're like, well, why bother trying? Because I always, I never meet any expectations, or I don't please people. I don't please my parents. So it really can affect later confidence issues.
Now, if I had a child, I would try to make sure that they were comfortable at all times. But you're saying that might not be the case, making sure that they always feel comfortable?
So making sure they always feel comfortable is a common parenting mistake. The corollary to that is overindulging them, giving them everything. I mean, anyone that's had a toddler knows that they are just as happy playing with an empty box than with a chest full of toys. So it's not necessarily giving them everything that they want, allowing them to try new foods, new situations, that, try a new sport, try a new activity, try new things. To push them a little bit outside their comfort zone, and make sure that they have that resiliency to problem solve and get through some difficult situations.
Yeah, I mean, I think we know this intuitively, that we kind of, all of us got resiliency from maybe going through some things that were difficult. So
we only have about a minute left. We want to get to the last two.
So these are two biggies: not setting parent and child boundaries and not taking care of yourself. Boundaries are those things where you create structure, you create differentiation. Your child's not your best friend, at least not, as a young child. When they get to be an adult, that's something different. But creating boundaries, having structure, having expectations, and also taking care of yourself as a parent. You need to take care of yourself. It's the old adage, put your oxygen mask on yourself before you put it on your child. Because if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't model that you're important and taking care of yourself, that's what you're showing to your child, that as they get older, taking care of yourself is not important. So doing things to take care of yourself is equally as important, so that you have the mental and emotional energy to be the best caregiver you can be.
All right.
All right. Good advice.
I have therapy at 2 with Dr. Scott. Are you going to be there?
I can be.
I'd like to see you.
It works because she is a child psychologist. So, just kidding. We're going to take a deeper dive on Kara's cures about all of this. So I hope you'll subscribe to the podcast, and you can definitely listen in and give some questions to Dr. Saunders too. Just a reminder, if you want to talk about all things mom, join us on the Mom Squad. There's the QR code right there. Just search for the Channel 3 Mom Squad on Facebook. You can use the phone to scan the QR code, but we'd love to have you in the Mom Squad, where we talk about all things related to being a mom.
See you later, Doc.
Have a great day.
You too.